He was born with eyes that saw only beauty, a heart that beat with the rhythm of pure love. Love was not something he felt, it was his very essence. The air he breathed, the words he spoke, the touch of his hand, all radiated an overwhelming, boundless love. The world, accustomed to the shadows of its own making, found him strange. His love, so pure and unconditional, was a language they had long forgotten. They called him naive, a dreamer, lost in a world of his own making. They did not understand that his world was the true reality, a reality they had veiled from their own eyes. Children with their hearts not yet hardened were drawn to him. They sensed his love, pure and untainted, and responded with innocent joy. But the adults, their eyes clouded by cynicism and fear, saw him as an amusement, a jester in the court of life. They mocked his open heart, his gentle words, his unwavering belief in the goodness within every soul. His love, they claimed, was a weakness, a vulnerability in a world that prized strength and cunning. They laughed at his earnestness, his willingness to see beauty in the broken, love in the loveless. Some, driven by greed and a thirst for power, saw in his love an opportunity for exploitation. They realized that his love, boundless and unconditional, could be manipulated, twisted to serve their selfish desires. They showered him with false affection, whispering honeyed words of admiration and respect. They took advantage of his generosity, his willingness to give without question or reserve. His love, poured out freely, was gathered in their cupped hands, not to be cherished, but to be hoarded and exploited. The majority, however, simply ignored him. His love, intangible and ethereal, was like a whisper in the wind, easily dismissed, easily forgotten. They were too preoccupied with their own pursuits, their ambitions, their desires, their fears, to notice the quiet beauty of his soul. His love was a gift freely given, but like a precious jewel left unguarded in the dust, it went unnoticed and unappreciated. They walked past him, their eyes fixed on the material world, blind to the radiant light that emanated from his very being. There were those who feared him. His love, so pure and absolute, exposed the darkness they harbored within themselves. It was a mirror reflecting their own shortcomings, their own capacity for cruelty. His love threatened their carefully constructed facades, their carefully crafted illusions of power and control. They saw in his eyes a judgment, a silent condemnation of their own hardened hearts. They sought to silence him, to extinguish the light that shone so brightly in the darkness of their own making. The boy, however, never wavered. He bore their mockery, their exploitation, their indifference, and their fear with the same unwavering love. He understood that their actions were not a reflection of him, but a reflection of the love that was absent in their own lives. He knew that he could not force them to see, to understand, to feel. Theirs was a journey they had to undertake themselves. His burden was not to change them, but to remain true to himself, to be a beacon of love in a world shrouded in darkness. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, something began to shift. A hand reached out, not to take, but to offer comfort. A hardened heart softened, touched by his unwavering compassion. A cynical mind paused, questioning its own deeply held beliefs. The seeds of love, sown with patience and unwavering faith, began to take root in the barren soil of their hearts. His love, like the sun's persistent rays, slowly melted the ice that had encased their souls for so long. The boy, who loved love itself, faced a future with three possible paths: destruction, if the world continued to reject his pure light. Transcendence, if his love elevated him beyond the reach of human pettiness. Or transformation, if his love slowly changed the world heart by heart. Each path held its own beauty, its own heartbreak. Yet the boy knew that the choice was not his to make. He could only continue to be a vessel of love, letting it flow through him, shaping the world around him in ways he could not always foresee. He understood that even a single spark of recognition, a single moment of genuine connection, made his journey worthwhile. For in that spark, however fleeting, he had ignited a flame that had the potential to burn bright, illuminating not just a single soul, but the world. His love was not a burden but a privilege, a responsibility he bore with grace and humility. For he knew that in a world starved for love, even a single, flickering flame held the power to banish the darkness.